Lambdas are anonymous functions, so they contain a single line of code. Look at this example. This is a function and the function name is sum, and if I execute this, it will give me the sum of two numbers. I'll just execute and show you once. So let's see, sum is 14, right? So if I want to replicate the same function using lambdas, this is how I would do. So you'll have to write the lambda keyword, right? Then you have to pass the arguments. So you have to mention the arguments that you have. I'll have x comma y, or you can put a comma b as well, any name, and then a colon, and then you will have to write the logic. My logic is a plus b. It's very simple. So I'll call it as add and I'll execute this. Now in order to call this function, I will say lambda of 12,344. There you go, the output decision. So this is how you can use lambdas. I'll also show you a couple of functions where lambda will be used. So first function we'll see is map. This applies on a list. Whatever the logic you put within that map function, it will be applied to each element of the list. For example, let me say this is my list. I'll have a list, let's say 1 2 3 4, right? And if I apply a map function, now whatever logic I put within this map function, that logic will be applied for each and every element. So it will take one element at a time, it will apply that function, it will go to the next element and it will apply the same function. So okay, so that is what map does. So the syntax is very simple: map and then open your brackets and then you apply the function. So I'll apply the lambda function here, lambda. Now at one point you will only work on one element, so what we'll do here is we'll try to double the number. So I'll say x into 2. So this is what if this is the logic that so if you execute this, right, so we have an error. It says like you have two arguments. So basically first argument is your lambda, this is your first argument, but then the second argument is you want to pass the list on which you want to apply this function. So here the list is my list, and if I execute this, if you see, it will say this is a map function. So the output is a map. So let's convert, we'll have to convert into a list. Remember casting. So this is what we are going to do. So I'll just say list, and if I enter, if you see here, everything is double. So if I want to triple it, I'll make this change here, and there you go, it has been triple. So this is what map function does. There is another function that I want to discuss. So this is a filter. So from the name again, it's very clear, right? So filter function is applied again to a list and it will just filter out the record. So based on the condition, whatever the condition you put within that filter condition, only those elements will come out, the other elements will be dropped. For example, if you see this my list, there is like 1 2 3 4. I want to return only the even numbers. So even numbers are divided by 2, right? So we'll apply that logic. So I'll say filter, right? Again I'll see a lambda, and again it's just one element at a time. I'll say x, so x modulus 2 equal to 0. So this is my filter condition. So when you divide by 2 and your remainder is 0, that will be a given number. And then I'll pass the list. My list name is my list. I'll have to convert this to a list. So I'll say list, and then I'll shift enter. There you go, you have the even number. So this is about filters, maps and lambdas. So a small concept, but this could be very helpful when you have that one liner of code. Hope this was very clear to you, and keep practicing, and we'll meet in the next lecture.